Good day, good people. Relevant Thoughts blog is here. I'm your guy, Lewis to the T. Happy Black History Month once again. And today's topic is going to be resilience. As I was getting dressed, I put on my jersey. I got on my Shador Sanders jersey this morning, and I was thinking about how resilient he is. I'm actually going into the office, and we're doing a Super Bowl themed day, just for engagement and morale and all those things. So of course I'm going to participate, but I'm going to participate. I'm going to participate in the way that I want to, right? Everybody gets to wear a jersey, and of course, why wouldn't I wear one that has my name on the back, right? But I was thinking about resiliency, and how he was done, how he was treated during the NFL draft. I don't even watch the NFL anymore, but I was very curious about the draft because, of course, both of the Sanders brothers were going into the draft, and he was deemed this big deal, and I just wanted to see how it was going to all unfold and to watch what happened to him. And I say what happened to him because we know that it was not based on his ability to play. We know it was not based on where he was ranked, or his skill set or anything of the matter. It was some social, political, whatever you want to call it. Let's knock him down a peg. Let's teach him a lesson. I don't know all of the grainy details, but I do know that from a football perspective, from a skill set perspective, that the young man was not treated fairly. He was not treated in accordance to what he brought to the table for the teams that were looking at him. But he landed somewhere, right? So he lands in Cleveland. And I think we can fairly say that at the conclusion of this season, he just proved them all wrong. And he did so with such class and such dignity. His integrity throughout, through and through, would not allow them to bait him into saying things about the coach, would not allow them to bait him into being negative. His positivity was absolutely contagious. Like the way in which he carried himself and handled himself allowed others watching to kind of bring it down a bit, but also, on his behalf, speak for him. I saw sports commentators like Shannon Sharp and uh, Terrell Owens and Ocho Cinco. Everybody had something to say on his behalf, just in the way that he carried himself, in the way that he played the game, on and off the field. And so when I think about resilience in modern times, I think about somebody like a Shador Sanders, a young man. This is a young man who clearly has the influence of his father, not just as a father, but also as a coach. And you can see it. You can see it in the way he carries himself. You can see it in the way in which he speaks to the press, in the way that he stands up for himself without being extremely combative or negative. And that's just a lesson learned for all of us. I think about him. And then I also think about Fawn Weaver, who is the owner of Uncle Nearest, Uncle Nearest Whiskeys and Cognac. Or actually, I think Uncle Nearest is a whiskey. I don't think it's a cognac. But she, if you don't know the story of Uncle Nearest, look it up. What she did with that company is nothing short of amazing. As a Black female owner of a brand within spirits, it is almost unheard of. And for her to do as well as she has done, you could not expect her not to have controversy, her not to be attacked. And within her story over the last few years, she had to go through a restructuring. I think she officially did a bankruptcy, if I'm not mistaken. But how it was done and how they approached her, how the banks and how the powers that be got together and attempted to take ownership of her company, was just a little mind blowing. You're not surprised or shocked. You're more just irritated that it's still happening the way that it's happening. The long and the short of it is, they had a loan, and I want to say the loan may have been for like $100 million, which seems astronomical to us. But the company's valued at like $1 billion, and they missed the equivalent of one quarterly payment. One quarterly payment, and they called the entire loan in. Where do they do this, and why is this being done, right? That was my immediate response. But she, her and the organization, they withstood this. They did their restructuring. They maintained major owner, not major, but primary ownership, still a Black owned business, still a Black female owned business, and she's still at the helm of the ship. and they still have an amazing product. Not just because I love the taste, and I do, but because of the awards that they have won by their peers and by people who really do this for a living and say what's good, what's bad, what's at the top, what's number one, what's not. You know, she's always remained at the top since the beginning of creating Uncle Nearest. So those two people, the way they handled themselves, the way she spoke to the public, the way she spoke to those of us who she knew were her not just supporters but consumers of her brand, and how she walked us through the fact that she was not going to let this brand go. I it was amazing to me, but her resiliency. So today, I want to encourage us to just be resilient. We're all going through stuff. Me and my friends have been talking lately that life is just going to life, where everybody's going through something. Have the compassion to remember that, have the grace to know that, and lend what you can to those around you who are going through things that might need your help, that might need your support. Resiliency does not mean isolation, and does not mean that you have to do it independent of other people. So, you know, I hope you carry that through your day. I hope you remember it when you need it and pass it along to somebody else. This is Relevant Thoughts, and I'm your guy, Lewis to the T.